The following podcast contains spoilers.
Hello, and welcome to Staying Awake.
I have a sleeping disorder. I can't tell the difference between my waking life and dreams.
Hello, and welcome to Staying Awake. This is the Bunzerelly Show.
Another episode of MoonKnight. My name is Joe. Khiam's here with me. Khiam, I got to tell you something. I am really enjoying this show right now. How you feeling about it?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it too, man. It's going in a great direction, great pacing and everything.
When I was watching Boba Fett, even like The Mandalorian, it's like, okay, what are they going to do next? What are they going to do next? Like, they're going to bust some kind of Star Wars twist at us kind of thing. But this one's just like, I got to see what's going on with Steven and Mark. And I'm waiting for it. Like, I'm fully engaged in the characters.
Yeah, they really kind of just throw you down this rabbit hole that you just kind of want to keep going deeper and deeper and deeper and finding out what's going on. And they're just like, they're releasing it at the perfect pace to where you're not being overwhelmed with everything and it's not dragging on to where you're like, okay, I need more. You're getting just enough information at the right pace, you know?
There's one theory it's kind of buzzing in my head, or one big question is, because Mark's always referring to twice, Mark had mentioned, we got to get this done and you'll never see me again. I have two twist endings that could, either one of them is kind of like a emotional impact, because I think us as the audience is getting, I think, more attached to Steven maybe just because we know him better. Because Steven's a little bit of a goof, but he's not like a Jar Jar Binks goof. He's just a little naive and silly.
Yeah.
He's believable as a real person. But what if, so because I did read the IMDb, and I don't have a lot of like comic reference, but there's really two IMDb's, so it could go either way. But one of them says a mercenary struggles with dissociative disorder. But then there's another IMDb on the show that says Stephen Wright has somebody living in his head. So it's still kind of like, which one's the real one? I'm still going with Mark because Mark's got more of a track of history. He's got a wife. He's got the roadmap that led him up to this point.
Yeah.
Where Steven, first of all, the phone calls with his mom is always leaving a message. So is he ever even calling anybody?
Yeah. I hear you on that.
Yeah,
we haven't had an actual physical conversation between them yet.
Now, Mark's wife, Layla, had mentioned something like, oh, you're talking to your mom again. And Steven said, this is my mom's flat. So there's two parts to that. First of all, nothing has anything to do with anything, or his mother died.
Yeah.
And he's just, what's the word? When you go, he's squatting. Well, I mean, it's his mother, so he's not really squatting, but he's staying in that place.
Yeah.
Because Mark seems to know more about the situation than Steven, I'm wondering, is the deal that he made, because he keeps saying, you'll never see me again, you'll never see me again. So is it that Khonshu's going to get rid of Steven, or Khonshu's going to get rid of Mark? It could be either way, because you would assume Steven if Steven's the fake one. But what if Mark's just, whatever his life is, he's just fed up with himself? It's just an interesting twist.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to think of that, honestly, because I didn't even think of it in that aspect. I thought maybe there's just something grandiose going on between all three of the entities that's going on within Steven, Mark, and then was it how do you pronounce it? Khonshu, yeah. So I don't know.
No, you know what? It still could go either way, because Khonshu's deal was, what we're being told is, he told Mark, keep Steve out of the way.
Yeah.
Does that necessarily mean Steve's the fake one? It still doesn't mean anything.
I mean, I kind of was getting the concept that Steve is the real one and that Khonshu and Mark are kind of like overriding him.
And he could have been Mark for a long time, which would have explained the marriage. Like maybe he originally was Steven.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool, once again, that I haven't read the comics, so I'm just kind of like going to be surprised with the rest of the...
But something I will say that I did catch is that, so maybe Steven is the fake one, because it seemed like when he had the dialogue going on with Layla about everything that was going on, and they were talking about, he was trying to tell her about Egyptian history or all the little relics and everything. Everything he was saying, she was finishing. Like, I'm the one that taught you this. So it was almost like he was reflecting her personality. You know what I mean?
It might be a desire of like Mark to have some kind of innocence. Like he wants to be that naive, innocent gift shop guy.
Yeah.
And he's reaching for parts of his wife that he loves. That's like I wish I could be more like my wife, like innocent and. But
so I guess I could see that maybe Mark is the one. He is the lead one.
But as far as the end game for the show, do they both stay or does one stay? And I'm just shooting that down because it could have been the deal, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the end game that one of them disappears.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm really not sure.
What I am liking about Steven is Steven, as much as he is the naive, quote, weaker one, he's standing up to certain things.
Yeah.
He's standing up to Mark. He's still scared of Khonshu because Khonshu's just scary looking.
Yeah, just doesn't
he looks like Tim Burton. He reminds me of Beetlejuice when the couple like stretch their faces. That's the husband. He looks just like my memory of the husband. But when I first saw the Mr. Knight, which is Steven's Moon Knight look, I had assumed because this time since this show is story driven, this time I kind of watched it at work on my phone. I took one break. I watched half. I watched him running away from Khonshu, and I'm like, I bet Khonshu is Mr. Knight, and he just wanted to make like Steven less scared of him. Like that's kind of where I was going with it. Like that must be what happens because we both knew the look was coming.
Yeah.
But the fact it became Steven's Moon Knight, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. That's just they're just like put on the suit, and he's just like, okay, I don't know what.
Yeah, and he goes, I don't know how to do this shit. I've never done this before. Like, he's still arguing with Mark. He goes, you look like Psycho Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
Now, the cool thing about that is that that's going to be a cool twist in some moment of the show where it's like Moon Knight's in a jam, and maybe instead of Steven taking over, Steve takes over and becomes Mr. Knight, and you'll kind of get that sense, oh, it's Steven's back. Because now I'm feeling a little, I'm saying now, it's only been 2 episodes, but now I do have some sympathy for Mark because Mark is trapped in this deal with Khonshu. Yeah. Like Khonshu isn't a good dude. Maybe like he's trying to be a good dude, but he's a little or gray.
Honestly, it seems like he's just about as shady as the deity that Arthur is.
Amit, yeah.
Yeah, Amit that Arthur is following. Because it seems like they're both kind of like saying they're trying to do things, but going about it in a gray way or a more darker way to complete that overall good,
Speaking of the Amit situation, I think because Arthur Harrow, once again, he's kind of like now he's really getting a grasp of what's going on.
Yeah.
I think what's going to happen is because he's got his eyes on Layla, I think somewhere there's going to be a communication between Arthur and Layla where they flat out say what's going on and Layla realizes what's going on. I think that's going to be a big part of the dynamics. If Layla realizes there is a Steven and there is a Mark and she's dealing with these two different people.
Yeah.
The cool thing is it's story driven. So what I'm hoping they don't do is like if how WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, they were completely different shows. Okay, and what happened was they're like one's like reading into this story, and right at the end it became like your standard Marvel battle in the sky.
Yeah.
Falcon and Winter Soldier kind of did the same thing. It was more of a grounded story, and then all of a sudden Sam and the Captain America thing flying around.
Yeah.
Not that it was bad. It just, this one, I kind of want it to stay at the pace it is. I'm liking the story-driven part. The stuff going on in his head is just as interesting, maybe more sometimes than seeing Moon Knight leap from roof to roof.
Yeah, honestly, it was the most compelling part. Seeing him leap roof to roof, like you're saying, I don't know, it kind of broke the pace for me.
Yeah, it did. It oh, here we go, we're doing this, but I was actually more interested in Mr. Knight than Moon Knight, which isn't anything wrong.
Yeah,
because Moon Knight hasn't really gotten to show his full like moves and everything, and obviously he is going to be cool. I'm just saying that's pretty cool when it's story driven like that. Like I'm hoping the end or like the big climax is more of like a battle of the minds or some kind of peace made. Because when you get to this Amit thing, which is probably going to be the end game of this show, how's it going to play out? So I want to see more of like a battle of wills and stuff. I almost predicted an ending. I was listening to, because I did some post on Instagram and stuff, like to set up for the voicemails and stuff.
Yeah.
So I played the song Dancing in the Moonlight, because I was like, okay, Moonlight. Like I was thinking, it looks cool. I had a picture of Mr. Knight and anything. But I put an ending in my head of like, it's Steven and Layla. They're on the beach. The thing's over. Like, oh, happy ending. Okay, this is good. And Mark's gone. And all of a sudden, like, you see Khonshu like behind him, and then boom, Moon Knight. I don't know. I just had that like that some kind of psychological twist like that. Like I'm more interested in the fate of like Steven and Mark that resolution, which is good. It's a good thing about a show.
Honestly, yeah, especially to introduce a character, because we don't need them to be like over the top. Just getting to know them, you know.
Yeah, still no MCU, which I'm still fine with because I think I truly believe it would dilute the story.
I do too.
If they want to do it at the end just to say he's here.
Exactly. Just to acknowledge that, like, okay, now this is where we're going in the direction after the character being introduced, you know? I feel like it'd be good in that sense.
It would be nice to see if he sticks around and the story doesn't end, him mix it up with other superheroes. But right now I'm just like, I want to see how this plays out. Yeah. So that's, do your Nick Fury at the end after credits or something. Just to I want to tell you about the new Avengers or something like that.
I agree.
Well, once again, Steven got a few good hits in, which I think Steven's going to be a player. That was the other thing. It's because they've made Steven so lovable. Oh, I read something interesting. So the director had said that he fought for the restaurant scene in the first episode, where Steven goes out for the steak dinner and gets stood up. And I guess people were like, well, this is kind of a little fluff and doesn't have anything to do with it. And it kind of makes sense when you think about it, because what he's saying is I didn't catch it the first time, but they've reiterated it in this episode. But because Steven's a vegan, but he's so like lonely and everything, he was willing to go to a steak restaurant for the date and everything. Yeah. And what it does is it makes the director says, I needed you to fall in love with Steven as a character, which I think they sold. Like you're sympathetic towards him. He's not definitely. He's not just a goofball personality. He could be a real person.
Yeah, you want to see him win.
Yes, exactly. And you want to see how him win. And now right now at this episode, now all of a sudden we went from, and we're six episodes. We're a third.
Almost a third, yeah.
So it's like, now all of a sudden the game changed, and now, oh no, Steven's trapped. Like I didn't care so much about Mark being trapped, but now Steven's trapped, I feel kind of bad.
Yeah.
Because he looks like he's like scared in there. And so now it's going to be next episode, like does Steven come back out, or is he going to have different discussions? Is he going to learn more about Mark? Those conversations they have with each other are very interesting.
So if it's 6 episodes, do you think it'll be broken between the 3 personalities? If we just had 2 with Steven, maybe we'll get 2 with Mark, and then 2 with like a fuller MoonKnight.
The things that haven't been covered are which one's real? Yeah. Who's real? Yeah. So are they going to show us the exact time the split happened, or was the split gradual? Like what actually happened to make Mark?
I think that'll be something that'll come out towards the finalization of it.
Yeah, because even Arthur's like posing the question too. He's actually asking the question. He's saying, did Khonshu come after you because your mind would be easily to break, or would it be, or because you were already broken? And then Mark actually had said to Steven, like, no, he saved both of us, which makes me once again think that the break was before. Yeah, I think he had the split personality before. Whatever the event that Khonshu saved them. What was that? Did Mark try to kill himself? Yeah. Was Mark injured doing some of his mercenary thing? Or was it, how did the deal make? Or
exactly.
Also, it's on the trail of the stuff him and his wife are researching. So that connects to it too. Like something put him in this spot. And then whatever was happening there all of a sudden led to the break, which led to the divorce. So those are the gaps that need to be filled.
Yeah. I honestly think that will probably come towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we might get fleshed out with Mark more in the next 2 episodes.
Yeah, because Mark isn't necessarily like a bad character. You just don't know him as well as we just gotten to know Steven so well to flesh it out. What we do know about Mark is he legitimately cares about his wife. Yeah, he's just knows he's a danger to her. Exactly. That's what he's just trying to get her out of his mess he made. I think when you learn where the break was or what drove the thing to happen is when you'll start being sympathetic to Mark. If Mark is the real one and something made him have this split personality, that's going to be what makes him the sympathetic character.
I agree.
And then you're going to have a hard time with losing one of them, or do they become something new? That's the psychological show of it. Like I said, I just hope at the end it doesn't just like go pop, boom, Marvel here, some Eternal steps on the earth or something. You know what I'm saying?
I'm here, and this is, I don't know. Now that I think about it more, I think Mark might be the actual one, because what have we really seen that's like solid for Steven other than a name tag? when there's like passports for Mark,
Yes.
and like all these other things that are actual physical things, you know?
And Mark having the passport and being a mercenary also means he has the resources probably to make the ID. I mean, you look at the cash he's got sitting around. He's got like, he had some, I forget what European money. He had some European money. He had some American money, just stacks of it. So once again, the evidence is Mark's been in the game for a while.
Exactly.
Where Steven, all you need is a social security number and an ID. And all of a sudden, you're getting a job. He's running a gift shop in a museum.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a big background check.
Nope.
You know, like what's your experience kind of thing. It's a very basic job. I mean, I'm saying that to say like he could get it easily without a bunch of, you know,
without anyone digging in too deep to see who you are, and
especially if he has a flat that he's not paying for.
Yeah,
he's got a good little setup there because you look at Mark. Mark's holed up in a storage unit.
Yeah.
And because you get those are climate controlled too, so you get one that's AC'd enough that you could just, you know, basically takes his naps there and he lives in and out of there. But that was a pretty interesting setup, like the unraveling of Mark.
Definitely.
Steven still thinks he's real. He could be real. But it's funny that Steven's like, well, I just need a little help. Like he's embracing. He obviously knows something's going on in his head. So he's just, it's going to be the weird thing when one of them realizes they're the fake person, whichever one it is. That's going to be something, that's going to be a sad thing to see too.
Yeah.
Because I think they both think they're real.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sure about that.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how it's going about. Because even this character, Arthur, he's saying that he was...
That's right. We forgot about that.
Yeah, he was saying that he was the predecessor before Steven.
Yeah, he was Khonshu's first, was Avatar.
Exactly. So it's like, is it something like more of a reincarnation kind of thing to where maybe Steven, that's the only thing I was thinking, because I know a lot about Egyptian like culture. And if Marvel really is trying to pull from like this Egyptian god thing, they believe in reincarnation and afterlife and all that kind of stuff. So is it like this kind of thing where Mark has just always been this kind of like mercenary for Khonshu? Is this like some kind of deal that's been going on for a while, or I don't know.
That's another, I forgot about the Arthur thing.
Yeah. Because
an interesting part about that is, which would be cool to see, is where did the break happen with Arthur and Khonshu?
Yeah.
Like what came first with was it the Amit? Like how did he get drawn to this Amit thing?
Yeah.
And still had Khonshu with him? That, you know, it's almost like a political choice he made, but he was still. And how did he separate himself from Khonshu?
Yeah.
And still live, but because Mark doesn't seem like he's able to get rid of Khonshu.
Nope.
So how did Arthur break from Khonshu and he's fine?
Unless he's manipulating because he's going through Amet the same way that Mark and Steven are going through Khonshu.
Yeah, but Khonshu never denied anything. Khonshu was watching the conversation.
He didn't deny it, but he just kept telling him kill him. Like
yeah, but he never said
silence it.
Yeah, but he never said he was a liar or something. I don't know. I mean, that will be shown.
Yeah.
But like, how did he get into the Amit stuff? Did he start researching Amit without Khonshu knowing and just decide to go, or he came across something that is a very curious thing to see? Obviously, there's an answer, but that's a big part that needs to be unraveled as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just really loving this show. It's really good. Just hoping it keeps momentum. It doesn't kind of go off the rails a little bit. So, Khiim, thanks for being here.
Yeah, no problem.
If you guys like the show, make sure you subscribe. We're on your favorite podcast players. And check us out on Bunzerelly.com, and we will see you.
See you guys.